So
Oh,
we're streaming live now. So uh,
there
I'm gonna let Eric in. Hi, Eric. So far, you're the only person joining right now.
Hey, Nika.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Okay, let me see. Let me stop sharing my screen. I can't see my. There we go.
Just the three of us in here right now.
I know. I'm like more than that signed up. So
Yeah. My
okay.
agency got defunded, and then yesterday I just accepted a position staying with my current company, but learning Power BI and Microsoft Fabric, which I have zero experience in.
Oh, well, congratulations.
Well, it'll be interesting. We'll see what happens. So,
Yeah, congratulations. That's good.
yeah, it's only 14 weeks guaranteed, and then we'll see what happens there too. So
Yeah,
at least I have a 14-week heads up versus a 29-hour heads up.
right. Exactly. Yep. Okay. I have a feeling that people will be streaming in slowly.
Mhm.
Um, and okay, I see another person. Good afternoon, everybody. So we currently have three people here, but I think that's enough for us to begin. Um, I want to thank you all for attending our talk for it is October. Time is moving fast. Our speaker today is Alex Johnson, and the topic is the hidden return on equity of artificial intelligence. And before I hand over the reins, I always do a introduction to Drupal for Gov. Most of you all know about the nonprofit Drupal for Gov. We are a community of open source advocates, and we love all things open source. So, in addition to this webinar, which happens every third Thursday at 3 p.m., our biggest event is Drupal GovCon, which occurred in August. We are working on the logistics of that, and I look forward to sharing our date for 2026. We also participate in global training days, half training days, when we have the opportunity and we have the space. And we participate and organize Gov Summit at DrupalCon North America. If you are interested in doing a webinar, you can sign up on Drupal for Gov. We have a form that you can use or reach out to us. Email us at drupalforgov@gmail.com. We also have Slack channels and LinkedIn. I like to share the other Drupal community events that are happening in the United States. If you are in Oregon, um, what is it, 18th? This weekend, there is a Drupal Summit camp. There also is one in Texas on the 23rd to the 25th. And November 8th, there is one in Chattanooga, Tennessee. And in November 14th through 15th, there is one in New England. So check them out if you are in those areas. Also, if you have the space, I know that we're currently in a government shutdown, but when we open back up, we always look for places and spaces to hold training events similar to this webinar like this one. So if you have the space and you're interested, please email us at info@drupalforgov.us. If you miss a session. We are currently live streaming to YouTube. And then just check us out if you want to check out any past webinars that have happened. And last but definitely not least, I'd like to introduce Alec Johnson. I met him during a business cohort that I'm currently involved in. He is the founder and CEO of Optumize Solutions. He specializes in AI-driven automation and workflow optimization for small and medium-sized businesses, and he helps organizations reduce the manual effort and reclaim valuable time. Thank you, Alex. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'm going to hand over the reins to you.
All right. Thank you, Nika. And hello, everyone. Thank you for joining. My name is Alex Johnson, CEO and founder of Optimize Solutions. As Nika said, we are focusing on how do we reduce manual efforts for businesses while increasing their output. So in a less casual or more casual way, we're trying to figure out how do we get more out without having to put more in. And so we're trying to make sure that we're getting people the results that they're looking for, because again, let's be honest here, there are a lot of things going on in life. We may not have all the time, the bandwidth, or the resources to scale our resources, but we still need to pay the bills. And so that's what we're going to go over today. This is one of those things where I give a disclaimer. This is not your ordinary training session where I just go over slide after slide after slide after slide and just peppering you with information. I'm a little bit more animated, a lot more energy, because I think it's a easier time, it's more engaging, and then it allows me to show my personality. So these things I am actually very, very excited about. This is what I do all day, every day. So my background is actually in federal compliance, tech compliance. So I do a lot of things with, if you heard of it, called FedRAMP. And so we are assessing Fortune 500 companies, Fortune 1000 companies to make sure that they're compliant with federal standards. And so in a nutshell, it's very boring work. And there's a lot of things that could be automated. And so for me, looking at stuff, I found some interesting things, which I'll go over to in my background, and we're going to go with that. The other thing is I don't have a PowerPoint ready for today. So I did that because I want to show people my thought process. So this is not a training session where I go over stuff and it's good to know information. This is stuff that you'll be able to take today, implement today, and get results today. I don't like classes where they just give you all this information and then tell you, oh, yes, we're going to, if you want more and you want the actual sauce to what we're doing, go ahead and join our $10,000 class. And then we're going to try to upsell you some more stuff. That's not me. I'm going to give you real tangible things that you can take home today and will hopefully improve your life. So all I ask for today is that you are honest. Give me some feedback. If you like what you see, just let me know in the chat. There are going to be times where I can and cannot see things in the chats, but just bear with me. And so hopefully by the end of today, I will be a lot of you guys' best friends. Put some wows in the chat, some amazements, and that is the goal. So without further ado, let me go ahead and share my screen. All right, so the very first thing, I am not a creative person at all. Can't do it. Would love to do it, just don't have the willpower to do it. My PowerPoints are very generic and they are boring. And because of that, I know that I can't, or I should delegate those things. And if you're like me, a PowerPoint is god awful, it's dreadful. And it takes a long time. And even when you get it, there's still somehow errors in it, something's not working, and something is just not going to work. So what we're going to do is, as you can see, I have some PowerPoints. These are my PowerPoints. These are all AI PowerPoints. And what I'm going to do, as you can see, I am on the free plan. So you can do this as well. I will put my little refer invite link. So if you guys use this, all I ask is that you use this link. But I do want to hear from you guys. So if you guys can, as I'm pulling this stuff up, if you can put your name and business into the chat, it's going to help me form some stuff here. So you can just put your name and then maybe a state that you're in, and you'll see why in just a sec. So what I'm going to do is prep, and a lot of you guys may have things that you're trying to get done. I think Eric, you were saying that you had a very short leeway or runway when you get introduced to a project, and now you have to maybe present on something. So this is going to simulate that exact same thing. So this is Perplexity. As you can see, I had the pro version, but for a year straight, I was using the free version. I just used the pro version because I have Fireflies. And Fireflies is, I'll show you guys that real quick. So Fireflies is a tool that I use for transcribing and grabbing all my meeting notes. So gone are the days where you had to attend a meeting, you had to pay super duper attention, and then you had to write down detailed notes because if you didn't, you were going to miss something and somebody's going to get yelled at. And most times it was you. So Fireflies will transcribe every note. It will then make sure that action items are captured. It'll say, hey, from the first minute to the 5 minute mark, these are the things that you guys went over. From 5 minutes to 10 minutes, these are the things that you went over. And at the very bottom, it will then allow you to, excuse me, have action items say, hey, Alex needs to do this person needs to do that, this person needs to do that. And it's very, very good. But it also has things where you can change the type of summary. You might want a general summary. They just came out with VC summaries. So for venture capitals, all these different options that you can do, and it'll kind of change up the way the notes are. And again, this is something I think I started with the free version, but eventually I just moved over to the paid version because I was like, we're having so many meetings that is just useful for me. And when I got that, they ended up partnering with Perplexity and was basically saying, hey, you'll get a year free of Perplexity Pro if you sign up for Fireflies. So it was a two-on-one. So it was highly worth it. I highly recommend Fireflies. There are other ones like Otter.ai. I don't know the others because I just use this one. So that's why I have Perplexity Pro, but the free version is more than enough. So perplexity.ai. So this I use more than I use Google. So what I'm going to do, I have a MacBook. So if you look at your keyboard, it's F5 and you can do text to speech or speech to text. So I'm just going to prep this real quick. Can you look up Drupal for Gov? Oh, wait. I think I double clicked it. One sec. Can you look up Drupal for Gov? Who are they? What do they do? What is their core audience? I need to be able to know as much as possible because I want to do a presentation to the audience. And some, oops, I forgot I clicked this. So let me see. We got Dan from Virginia, Carolyn, Department of Energy, Perry from Ohio. And if you guys have any businesses, just go ahead and throw that in chat. So let me do this. Drupal for Gov. Okay. Who are they? What do they do? What is their core audience? I need to be able to know as much as possible because I want to do a presentation to present to small business owners as well as people without businesses that are interested in learning about AI, the use cases as well. Okay, so now first thing, I don't like typing too much. You have speech to text. You can also press this button here. It's called Diction. It's on your iPhone as well. So you just kind of speeds those things up. Just make sure that you're checking those. So now what this is going to do is go and check Drupal for Gov, all the company sources. As you can see, it went through 20 sources faster than I can go through one website. It was able to go through 4 or 20 of those and then put all that information here about Drupal for Gov. So let me minimize this little thing here. Can you put this in a table. So now we have all this. That's fine. That's dandy. Um, let's add in a little detail, right? So now I'm asking it to change the way that it's actually presenting the information to me. So it's a little bit easier on the eyes. So as you can see now, it went through 9 more sources, 15 more sources to give me more information that I was asking for. So we got an organization type, the mission, the core audience, community focus, all of this information about what I can use. So now right here, I'll copy this table. I'm gonna head over to ChatGPT, which is probably the thing that most people have heard about. So let's do this again. All right, I need to brainstorm a little bit more because I am trying to do a presentation for the next 45 minutes on AI, its use cases, and then also make sure that there are things that we'll need to leave space in there for me to do demos. I do want to go over Notebook LM. I want to go over Perplexity. I want to go over Napkin AI, as well as maybe a few more. So just give me that space, but use the information below so that way I can create this PowerPoint outline. And it's going to be 8 slides. Okay, so brainstorm. Oops. Storm a little bit. Okay, trying to do a presentation for the next 45 minutes on AI, its use cases, and then make sure that there are things that we need to leave space in there for me to do some demos. I do want to go over Notebook LM, Perplexity. I want to go over Napkin AI as well, as maybe a few more. So just give me that space, but just use this information below so that I can create the PowerPoint outline. Great, it's going to be 8 slides. So I'm going to paste in there this information here, and we're going to hit go. All right, so now think of all the time that it would normally take you to just create the outline. So you're doing some research and things of that nature. Nika, you had mentioned something in there as well that you have to kind of prepare for, that we were talking about. Do you remember what that was?
Yeah, I put it in the chat. I put Amika, and I need to
Okay,
write a white paper on building a chatbot using AI models. And
perfect. Perfect. Thank you. All right, so that is perfect. And then someone said that they're looking to investigating agentic development. No problem. All right, cool. So I'm gonna just review this real quick. So we got our title and hook, opening statement, hook, context, why AI matters, high impact use cases, noticing something. Can you edit? I need a slide for introducing myself and background for Optimize business, Optimize solution. Okay, let's keep it to the 8 slides. All right, cool. So we're just gonna adjust that. So you can see on the fly, I don't have to be very technical. I don't have to know how to talk to computers. I don't have to know any of that stuff. I can just have a full-blown conversation with this the way that I natively talk. And so for you, it would be the same thing. So we got slide 1, slide 2. Cool. We got that. Slide 3, high impact use cases. Demo 1, research and knowledge tools. Cool, cool, cool. All right, so now what I'm gonna do, Nika, can you be my helper for today? I want a timer. So can you pull up your timer on your phone real quick?
I can do that.
Perfect. So while she does that, I'm gonna go to gamma.app. Again, I put my link in the chat to my referral code, so please help me out.
You just have to
Um,
let me know when to start the clock.
yep. So I am going to create new. All right, so Nika, go ahead and start the clock. So what we can do, we can paste, we can generate or import a file or URL. For this one, I'm going to do paste in text because we just created the outline. We can create presentations, web pages, documents, and even social media. So for people who don't like doing those things, you can just do that here. So I'm going to hit here and make sure everything looks good. Okay. And then what do you want? I want to generate this from notes on outline, and I have my outline here. And then I'm going to continue to the prompt editor. So this is where I get to choose some of the options. So Nika, what is your favorite color? Or what is
Red.
it? Red?
Yes.
Okay. Got it. So now we have, it already understands that we are writing this for government and nonprofit program managers, digital service leads, and technical staff. If I delved a little bit more into each and every one's business, or for you, if you're diving into a specific topic, um, who was that? Was that Eric? Eric, there was a specific topic that you said that you were looking for. That is the thing that you would look in perplexity. If you don't know what that is, you would look in perplexity. What are the top resources for this? Can you find me PDFs, YouTube videos? Is going out to the internet and finding that stuff for you so that you can do that stuff. So we said red. So we will do, let's do this rush one. Actually, let's do the coral glow one. I think it's a little lighter on the eyes. So we're going to keep AI images. We're going to illustrate, keep these here. Cool. Everything else looks good for me. And then I'm going to generate. And as you'll start seeing, it's a lot easier to start from something that is already there for you versus having to create it completely from scratch. Because again, I'm not somebody who is very good at creating very aesthetically pleasing looking things, but I'm good at showing how to get that same result in a fraction of the time. And that's what I think is the biggest use case of AI, is knowing that you can get 80, 90, maybe even 95% of the way that you want there, or even 100% of the way there, without having to put in all of this extra energy and stuff into your build out. So just that fast, Nika, go ahead and stop the timer. What was that time?
2 minutes and 41 seconds.
2 minutes and 41 seconds. So less than 3 minutes. And I was explaining probably for another 45 seconds to a minute what this was. And now we have our presentation to start. So let me go back to the beginning. All right. So what we're going to do is dive into some of this stuff. So we have high impact use cases for AI. Let me make sure this is beginning of it here. All right, there we go. So we have AI for public good, practical tools for government and nonprofits. Again, we can change this to any topic it is that we want just by updating the outline. So hopefully right now we're already blowing some of you guys' minds up to this point. So let me move this little thing out the way. So we're going to go over some practical stuff, demos, focus on exploration of AI tools, how they can transform you guys, maybe in the public sector, maybe you're in the private nonprofit section, wherever you may be at, is going to be applicable for you. This is not something where it is going to only apply to one set of people. It is going to apply to every person on here individually for your specific use case. So why does AI matter now? Well, it's because the reality is that people need things, right? But we don't want AI replacing humans. And so that's what we're trying to figure out, is how do we integrate AI to replace the manual repetitive work that we don't care to do, right? There are times where you may have to do a lot of research, a lot of reading, and you're looking and filtering through all these documents and or websites, and it's just too much, because now it's like, if I could just have something that would just give me the answer, that would be beautiful, right? And so it kind of cuts the fat of those things to allow us to really focus on what truly matters. So some government agencies, nonprofits face unprecedented challenges, arising citizen expectations for digital services, budget constraints and stretched teams, as well as growing complexity in service delivery. These are all things that we're feeling, especially now that we have these furloughs where budgets are getting tighter. People and agencies or companies may not be hiring as much or can't afford to hire as much. This is going to allow us to have this opportunity of using AI tools to democratize innovation, making sophisticated capabilities accessible to organizations of all sizes. Before AI was accessible to people, big companies, your IBMs, right? Your Googles, your this, your that. But now anybody who has $20 a month can have access to ChatGPT, right? You can use a free one, but I highly recommend the paid one because it allows you to have a little bit more nuances to it, and I'll go over that as well. So this session is going to be practical, demo heavy. Again, we're leaving here with actual tools that you can use to date. All right, so we are going to go over my background and why does all this matter, and why should you be listening to this? Why should anything that I'm saying matter to you? So my name is Alex. I am founder and CEO of Optumize Solutions. My focus is workflow automation, AI integration, making sure that you are able to close your laptop sooner in the week, making sure that you're able to get back to your family and the things that matter more, the most, without sacrificing efficiency and quality. So we're making sure that we are trying to accelerate what you have, integrate with what you have, and making sure that you're having the results that you're looking to have within your small to medium-sized business. Also nonprofits, government agencies, we work with everybody because again, it is the framework and the understanding of how these tools work that is what we are instilling and teaching people. So we focus on education first, educating and guiding you as to what is AI, how does it work, use cases. Because once you understand what it is and all the implications about it, now you can start making a little bit more informed decisions. So we have some high impact AI use cases. So content and knowledge, we have automated summaries, intelligent FAQ chatbots, real-time multilingual support that breaks down language barriers. So I showed you Perplexity. Perplexity was the one that is I use for research primarily. Now, I'm not married to one tool over another. It is something that it's whatever gets the job done. And when I hear problems or when I hear things that people are trying to do, it is, okay, well, what are some tools that can get that job done? So automated summaries, as you can see, we went into Perplexity. That gave me a summary of Drupal for Gov, and I was able to understand very quickly a lot of information about how I want to pivot this. Intelligent FAQ chatbots. Has there ever been a time that you have had a long day and guess what? There's someone who's got 500 questions and they need these questions answered. And somehow you have to muster up the energy because this is a potential client, or it is a client that you have to answer. Or if there's times where you have to translate certain things to somebody, and you just don't know, right? There was a time where I was trying to order food. My Spanish is okay, right? But it's not the best, and it's not enough that I could go to tell them like, hey, my order's a little messed up. Like, can we do something about that? So ChatGPT is on the $20 a month one, has this little button here, right here. So you have the microphone, which is the dictate. You have this on your iPhone, it's on Androids as well. This is just you talk and it tries its best to translate what you're saying into text. But this one is the voice mode. So I'm gonna pull it up on my phone and we're going to have a conversation. So I'm going to press that button. It looks the exact same on my phone, and I'll just have a conversation. So I am doing a presentation right now for government contractors, nonprofits, private companies, commercial companies, people who may be looking interested into getting into business and things of that nature. So can you kind of just in one sentence, what is AI and why should people be interested in using it?
Absolutely. In a nutshell, you can say AI is basically a technology that lets machines learn from data and make decisions, and is super valuable because it can save businesses time, improve accuracy, and open up all sorts of new possibilities.
Well, I'm kind of concerned because what if it's not secure and what if it's going to replace, my job and things of that nature? What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, those are really common concerns and totally understandable. I say this. AI definitely comes with security considerations, but when it's implemented responsibly, it's designed to enhance your work rather than replace it. It's more about automating repetitive tasks so you can focus on the more human, strategic stuff. So it's like,
Before you move on, can you let's pivot. Can you tell me that in Spanish?
claro, diría this in Spanglish. La IA certainly does have considerations of security, but when it's
No, no, no. I need you to tell me this in Spanish.
entendido. En español sería, la inteligencia artificial certainly does have considerations of security.
Still going. So, you're saying it in English. Let's try it in French. Can you translate this to someone if I'm speaking to somebody in French?
Bien sûr. In French, said in Ray, l'intelligence artificial has certainly
That one's not doing it. So, what I do want to, the reason I also like doing these things live is because I want people to understand that AI is not always perfect. There's going to be times where you need to try again. And there's nothing wrong with that. So let me change this back to the older model. They have different models. So ChatGPT has 4.0, 5, 3.0, like all these different ones. And so 4.0 seems to be working better. So let's try this one again. So I'm talking to someone about AI and use cases within AI. They're a little skeptical on it. They don't know what to do, where to start. So in one sentence, can you tell this person in French why they should be using AI?
Bien sûr. Tu peux leur dire, l'IA peut vous aider à automatiser des tâches, gagner du temps et prendre des décisions plus éclairées, ce qui rend votre travail plus efficace et agréable.
Okay, what about in Mandarin? Can you translate that same sentence?
当然可以。你可以告诉他们，人工智能能够帮助你自动化任务，节省时间，并做出更明智的决策，让你的工作更
All right, how about Italian?
Certo. Puoi dire l'euro, l'intelligence artificielle peut aiutarti a automatiser les activités, risparmier temps et prendre des décisions plus.
All right, so that is just one use case. And so there are other use cases where you can start talking to this thing about anything. It could be game planning, it could be strategizing, it could be anything that you're just not sure of, but you're trying to get an idea and you just don't have somebody that you call. There's times where I may be, 11 o'clock at night, I have an idea and I don't have somebody that I can call, but I can use ChatGPT. And again, this is a $20 a month membership where I can start asking questions and say, hey, let's role play. Let's do some contingency planning. But I really want you to dive deep into this subject or rip apart my idea. Why is this not a good idea? How do I make it stronger? And really start asking these questions. So that was over here. So citizen experience. So you can do conversational search, interfaces, and smart recommendations that help people find what they need quickly. Eric, really quickly, what was that topic that you needed to research really quickly?
It was Microsoft Power BI.
Microsoft Power BI. All right, perfect. So I know a little bit about it, don't know enough that I can speak greatly on it. But here's how you can use it in your day-to-day life. So YouTube is a perfect example of teaching somebody something, right? So let's go to Power BI, right? So now we have all these tutorials and videos, and I'm going to filter for videos that are over 20 minutes because I really want something that's going to get into the meat and potatoes of things. So now I can go here. I got all these videos that are a few hours long. Cool, great. And so what I'm going to do is use another tool called Notebook LM. So Notebook LM is created by Google. It is a free tool. And what it's allowing me to do is pull in all those YouTube videos that you just saw right there, right? So now we got all these videos starting to upload. And I can use that and really quickly pull in 20 videos. So it's pulling the transcript of that actual video in itself. And now it's going to allow me to start interacting the same way that I just did with the chat GPT that you guys just saw. I can now interact with these videos and the transcripts and the content and of what they are talking about, which is all Power BI. And as you can see, anything with a check mark is already done. So very, very quickly, it is now gone and pulled the transcripts of all of these videos and pulled them into Notebook LM. So now I can do a few things with this. So looks like we're done here. Let me minimize my screen. So we got one left. Perfect. So now it's going to give me a summary of what it's doing, what it learned. Is going to give me a synopsis that I can start interacting with. And there's more things that I can start doing with this. All right. So give me a summary. I think it's still reviewing. Let me move this little sub screen out the way of Power BI. Oops. Okay, so it's going to go through, analyze all that stuff, and then also we have other things that we can do. We can create mind maps, so I'll generate one of those. We could do flashcards, and we can do some type of reports. So think of people who have kids where you're trying to teach them certain topics. There may be things that you're learning new, you're into a new book, a new hobby, and you really just want to learn all this stuff, but you just don't have the time to do it. What do? So now I can create a training manual just like that. So it's going to do all this stuff. And as you can see here in the middle, we have Power BI. We have some information here about what it is. We have some citing where it's talking about that, where it actually grabbed from that transcript to answer this. And as you can see, we got a few here throughout the document. So really, really quickly, I can start reading all this stuff and I don't need to go watch every video about this, but I can ask as many questions as possible. So now we have a personalized tutor that can answer as many questions as you possibly want, right? So now we go over here to the mind map. So let's say that I'm brainstorming something. I really just want to start just diving deep into this. Or for you, you're diving into these things and you're like, well, what else? Well, what else? What else? So we have data analytics and Power BI SQL concepts. So I can go into one of these and start choosing this one and core concepts and start talking about these and all these different things. It's like, wait a minute, expression language for analytical value, right? I come back over here and I can use something like Google Gemini. Google Gemini. And here I can start asking it, and this is just a competition to ChatGPT. So now I can start asking it, what was that? Expression language. What is expression language for something? No. Analytical value. Analytical value. And can you find me a YouTube video on this? So Google owns Google Gemini and it also owns YouTube. So what it can do is explain these things, but then it can also find you YouTube videos, right? For that because they're interconnected the same way that Notebook LM is. So I can go in here and start looking, oh, okay, great. This is the video that I can listen to that actually explains some of that stuff. Now, if this is too technical, you can say, explain this to me like I'm a 5-year-old, right? So it's funny because again, there's so many topics that people who actually have kids and have tried helping them with their homework, and they're like, this math is different than the math I was learning back in the day. You guys got extra letters and you guys got the alphabet in here. When they start doing this, right? But now you can start explaining this stuff to your kids in a way that is tailored towards them. And you can create actual lesson plans and demos and all these different things for them that really help solidify. If they like Legos, you can talk about Legos. If they like, art or basketball or, whatever it is that they're interested is, or whatever your interest is, you can use that as well. And that is with Notebook LM. So let's go back here. I also wanted to do a video overview as well. The reason that this is powerful is because I'm opening it up on my phone And what makes Notebook LM different is the fact that it also turns it into a podcast that you can listen to. And so I'm gonna click generate, and as you can see, it's generating the report now for the audio overview. So it's going to take a few minutes and we'll come back to that. But it is now something that if you're an auditory listener, you can turn it into a podcast and you can start listening to this thing. And you can talk to it as if you're calling in to the podcast, which is vastly different because, again, this is a personal mentor for you that you can now start using and asking as many questions. It doesn't get tired of asking questions. So think about how long or how much you would have to pay somebody to train you on this stuff. And they are, getting tired of all the questions that you have, but you just really need to get a concept down. Now it's completely different. So we got a training manual here. As you can see, we got our introduction, we got our module one, just talking about SQL, module two, Excel, Power BI, Tableau, all of these things that we need, and it's going in depth about these things as well, right? So, Eric, these are the things that you might be using when it comes to Power BI. All right, so we got those. These are still loading, so let's go back to our slide deck. Staff efficiency, code suggestions, automated documentation, workflow improvements that free up time for strategic work. I know that when I was trying to code some stuff, at that time I did not have the money to pay a developer to develop all this stuff. And I'm like, I don't, what do we do here? Right. And you're just kind of like shelving something and just tabling it, saying, I don't have the bandwidth for this. I don't have the finances, the resources to do all this stuff. But now you have something that is just as good as a 3 to 5 year developer that can start putting this stuff for you. So
I see one that is development related, Mark,
mhm,
one that he's currently investigating agentic development from within a DDev instance using Claude.
okay.
So
Um,
he's- that would be interesting to see how how you
okay.
bridge AI to provide him information related to that. I would love to see that myself.
Yeah. So okay, great. Next topic is whoops, let me grab copy. Okay, great. Next thing is I'm pasting. Currently investigating agentic development from within a DDev instance from while using Claude. Um, can you brief me about that? Want to create an infographic from this. So I will answer that. I'll also just show a use case real quick since I have Google Gemini open. And so we're going to grab all this. So first, it's educating me on what this question is. Even though I know what agentic development is, I know, development as well. And what Claude is, I may not know the full context of this. So when inside, we got a Docker-based local dev environment, cool. Interact with local code base, perfect. Why use DDev for this? All these things. So get this little thing out the way. I need to hide this actually. So I'm gonna grab this. I'm gonna come over to Google Gemini and let me see if I can start fresh here. Can you create me an infographic for this? Paste. Okay. So now I'm gonna go to tools. We're going to go to Canvas and we're going to allow that to start adding that. So what this is doing is, as you can see, it's now coding the HTML script of this information that we may need. And then it's going to allow me to see that graphically and be able to talk about that kind of thing. Now, again, for that specific instance, it may take me a little bit longer to go through all this stuff and actually build out use cases for that. But I can just show, again, the methodology that I would do when I'm looking at this stuff. So as you can see, little clean, very easy, typical workflow, 5 steps: spin up the dev instance, connect Claude, issue high-level tasks, execute and adjust, right? These are just high-level things, right? Considerations, all that other stuff. So I could really, and as you can see, the button would actually work. But again, I can take this information. Now imagine that you're presenting on something and you need to do this information really, really quickly. You can do that within Google Gemini. I noticed that that one does the infographics pretty much the best. But if I am trying to figure out use cases, I could ask ChatGPT, what are 3 to 4 potential use cases for this, so that I can build a project around it, right? So again, I don't know, but what I will do is ask and get his thoughts, because again, this is a lot smarter than I am. And there's also other things that you can use here. So you could do deep research. Deep research will take a lot more time, but it's really going in and making sure that it's thinking, quote unquote, thinking about the solution. You can create an image. Agent mode is basically that it will set up a back end terminal kind of thing for more technical folks, where it is then connecting to the internet and it's going off and doing those things. And so for non-technical people, it is just creating its own separate tab, and then it's going to go and take a screenshot every like few seconds or milliseconds. It's taking a screenshot of what it's looking at and then using AI to determine what's on that screen, to then say, okay, based on what I'm seeing, I need to make the next step. And that's agent mode. As you can see, you only get so many for that. You can also web search and Canvas, but I like Google Gemini's Canvas a little bit more. But as you can see, you could have automated Drupal, a module scaffolding, automated testing and environment setup, AI-driven refactoring and documentation. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know what half this stuff is. But again, without me knowing what this stuff is, I can say, I like this one better. Can you give me implementation steps to implement into Claude? Like to build an agent for this, leveraging MCP. Okay, so really, really quickly, I can draft this up. And so MCP is basically a technical thing where it is allowing you to connect tools, so various tools. So if I want to connect Google Sheets or my Google Drive or my Gmail or Box, whatever the tool may be, I can use this thing right here and basically allow ChatGPT to now talk to this thing that it couldn't talk to before. And that's all it is. So you have your steps here that you can start following, and it really starts allowing you to really get into the nitty-gritty. But you also have something called branching. So what happens is if you talk too long to ChatGPT, it starts to forget what it was talking about. It's kind of like your bandwidth. If I'm throwing all this information out, like in this class, there's only going to be so much that you'll remember. Um, Unless you're writing some notes down, or we start a new topic and we start fresh. And that's basically what branching is that you can branch into a new chat and kind of keep this existing one and then say, all right, cool. This will be my like golden image here of like what's the layout. And then I'll create a new branch for step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. So that's basically what that basically is. So let's go back to Google Gemini. And so I'm going to select the interactive mode. I'm sorry, Notebook LM. So I'm going to do the interactive mode, which is turning this into a podcast that I can talk to and dive into any subject. So again, doesn't matter what it is. If you can find a YouTube video, if it's online, you can talk about it or have something to talk to get that information. So I'm gonna start it, and it's going to start getting ready, prepping this stuff, and it'll be a male voice, female voice, and I'm just going to have a conversation with it the same way that I'm having a conversation with you guys.
Welcome to the deep dive.
Today, wow, we have a ton of source material in front of us. It's basically a full data analyst boot camp. We're talking SQL, Power BI, even Python with pandas. It's all here. It really is the whole journey, isn't it? From raw data right through to the final dashboard. And I think for you listening, oh, hey there, what's up?
Yeah, in one sentence, could you just summarize Power BI? Like, what is it?
That's a great question, actually, and thank you for chiming in. Yeah, that's a perfect reset button before we dive into the weeds. In one sentence, Power BI is a data analysis and business intelligence platform used to load, analyze, and visualize data, sharing insights with others. That perfectly covers those three core functions we're going to talk about today.
Right? So we're talking certifications, we're talking new hobbies, we're talking whatever it is that your mind can fathom. You can put that, if it's online, you can put that into a PDF, right? And I can say, can you put this into a PDF that I can download? So imagine that you're trying a new recipe or you're trying a series of things or whatever the case may be. It doesn't have to always be a business use case. It can be a personal one. You could plan trips out. You can plan activities out for family, friends, or whatever it is that you may want. You can do this stuff. And now I have a PDF that I can download right here. And I can then import that into Notebook LM. I could use it for Claude, or I could use it for GPT, whatever the case may be. So Nika, I know we're coming up on time. You had mentioned that you were trying to do a white paper. And let's talk about that. So let me go back a step. So a GPT, you have Chat GPT, you have OpenAI, and then you have your GPTs. Chat GPT is a thing that most people hear all the time. That is the chat bot where you can ask a question and it'll give you something back. OpenAI is the company that owns them, where they're launching all kinds of new things. They have Codex, where if you're trying to do coding, they have Sora 2, where you guys are kind of seeing those new AI videos that look very, very real. And you're like, oh, what was that? And then you like, wait, something's off, right? That's AI and Sora 2, and there's other ones out there as well. And the GPT is it is specifically designed to do something. It is your personal assistant to do something. It might be for writing, productivity, research and analysis, education, whatever that case may be. So for me, I like creating GPTs for different use cases, right? So Nika, I will give this to you as well. But I want to create a white paper for an opportunity. So what I have done is created, let me go back here to kind of show how the sausage is made. I have set up instructions right here. As you can see, these are my instructions here. All of these things are going into this bot, and this bot is designed to write a 2 to 4 page uh, white paper based on these things. So I've defined all of these things here to get to this bot. So if I wanted to, I could just do this, click this one button, and then start having a conversation that is now here. So first question, what is your most urgent challenge or opportunity? So this is very broad. Anybody can use it. And as I start answering these questions, Nika, what is the challenge that you're trying to do?
Let's say build a chatbot in using Drupal for a government agency.
Okay. I saw Department of Energy's in here, so we'll pick on that for the Department of Energy. Okay. So as we start answering questions, it's just going to keep asking a question one at a time until we're getting to that point, right? And then it'll start actually creating the actual white paper. So for the sake of this video and this training, I won't go through everything, but it's just those are the things that you can do where it'll create a full-blown white paper that we've actually written to and submitted to these things. So let's go back here, kind of speed through this stuff. Training and growth is a really big one. So people are trying to figure out how do you train people at mass consistently and making sure that you're not skipping any steps. These are things that, again, you can set up an entire lesson plan for somebody individually catered towards them. Before, it's just a one size fits all kind of situation. Now it is one of those situations where you can individually adapt it to whoever. So we talked about some research tools. We talked about Notebook LM. We talked about Perplexity. We talked about real world applications like your white papers, your we were just talking about Power BI, things of that nature as well. AI ideas for prototyping. We have Napkin AI. So what I can do, since I already had that up, I'll go back to the last one I did. I think, was it this one? Yeah, this one. So I am going to grab this. This is the one we were talking about. Well, actually, let me go up a little bit more so we can talk about this. Cool. We'll head over to Napkin AI. And then I will leave the last 5 minutes for you guys to ask any questions if you have any. So this one I like using because there were times where we needed, for government contractors, they need to put proposals together and they just don't have the ability to maybe keep paying all these developers and things of that nature. Oh, actually, they finally came out of beta, so that is great. So let me just keep the first one. There we go. So, oh, perfect. So this is the last one that I had. So I just kind of keep this in here. This was talking about Optimize solutions and what we got going on. So what it's doing is using AI to understand what it is here that I pasted in here, and then creating a visual for me to be able to talk to, right? So I can change this. So I got a little funnel here. I can change this up, right? So whatever it is that you might be presenting on, you now have all these options to start talking about these things, and you can download them. So let me choose this one real quick. I could download it, export it, right? It's a PNG, SVG, PDF, PowerPoint, whatever it is that I need, and I can embed that into my document. So if I'm doing a proposal, as I'm talking about things that we've done or metrics or things that we've achieved, I can add that in here, and then I can even adjust what these may be. Or we could talk about our use cases, whatever it is, but I can now embed this into the document in itself. So with that being said, let me see how much we got left here. Right, integrating AI with Drupal, get involved, build your skills. So these are just things that I was kind of talking about. But overall, this is the end of the slide here. As you saw, we were able to create a PowerPoint very quickly, use ChatGPT to have conversations and build out lesson plans and do research. Perplexity was able to allow us to do more research and map this stuff out on any topic, any agency, any person that has access to information online. With Fireflies, it's transcribing all of our notes. We're using Notebook LM to create slide decks or visuals or whatever it is that we need to gain more information. Google Gemini was able to create us infographics, answer our questions, explain things to us like we're a 5-year-old, and Napkin AI was able to do stuff like this. So I hope that this was very helpful for you guys and you're able to take some stuff away from this. Nika, do we have any time for questions real quick?
We do. Feel free to unmute and just talk and ask your questions.
Okay. So anybody, try me. Let's go. I need some questions here. Thank you, Eric.
So Gamma is for presentations.
Yes, it is. Presentations, websites, social media, those kind of things. This is a quiet bunch. This is probably the quietest I've ever seen.
Hi, Alex. Thanks for your presentation. It's very well done.
Thank you.
I'm the one who works for the Department of Energy, and we often find ourselves needing some kind of visual. And lately, we've needed some for microgrids to explain what they are. And so I'm wondering which tool is the best to do that, and then how do I credit the entity that it may come up with the graphic for? So how, I know it's kind of a it's gathering data from a lot of different places, but that's what I wonder about. How do we make sure we're not taking something from someone with with creative license.
Yeah, so your microgrid, tell me a little bit about that because that's new for me. Is that like an Excel sheet or some kind of other format?
No, it's imagine like a small power grid that's can be independent or connected to a larger grid.
Mhm.
So, we're a lot of data centers now may end up with some kind of microgrid where you have a small nuclear reactor
Yep.
that's powering the data center. You may have a small rural community in
Mhm.
Alaska that's using a microgrid. It has its own generation on site, and it can be isolated. They can produce their own generation as needed for their particular community.
Mhm.
So it's trying to come up with some kind of visuals to show people what does a microgrid look like in a small community and other use cases.
Okay, perfect. So if Napkin AI doesn't do it, if Google Gemini and an infographic doesn't do it, Power BI was training manual. Here we go.
All right, let's do this. Welcome to your 5-minute data analyst bootcamp. We're about to lay out the exact roadmap for one of the most exciting careers, how you actually land the job, and finally, we'll take.
So what's possible is that depending on your audience, you can say, all right, cool, ChatGPT, let's have a conversation. And you start having a conversation with it and say, all right, well, this is our intended audience. This is what we're trying to achieve. This is who we're presenting the information to. Whatever that case may be, you're having a conversation with it. And then when you finish with it, it's storing all that information. You can then come back to your regular ChatGPT and say, all right, cool. I need I need to talk about this, and can you put it in a PDF format or whatever the case may be? And then you can create a visual video for that you can send to somebody. You can create a PowerPoint and add the same way that I created this PowerPoint in just a few minutes or 2 minutes 45 seconds. You can create that. So it's all different types of things that you can do. It's just whatever the visual that you feel as though is useful for that clientele base. Did that answer your question?
It does, but I also was wondering about the credit for the creation of the
Mhm.
eventual graphic.
So you want to credit like Notebook LM, or do you want to credit the agency?
Well, I guess it would be who, I guess there's probably not one source of the data. So I don't know if I would credit the company itself, but normally, like, let's say we have a national lab that creates the graphic. So then I would credit the national lab with the creation of it. In this
Mhm.
case, I'm not sure who to credit.
Yeah, yeah. So again, it's you can add those into the gamma. Let's say that you're presenting this in a PowerPoint to stakeholders or something like that. And I'm hoping I'm kind of getting closer to it. But let's say that I embed that this graphic here, because again, I can download this. And let's say that this is tailored towards microgrids about what are they, how do they work, things of that nature. And then as I built out this, instead of this being for Drupal, you would just kind of tailor it more towards the microgrid sector. You could embed the video in there, and then the last page you can say, "Hey, here's who we're crediting. We got our sources from here. This slide tied to this." You can get as creative as you want because now it's not trying to create it from scratch. You can tell it to ChatGPT and say, "Hey, I need these things. I need to make sure that we're crediting whoever."
Okay.
You can build that into the actual content outline as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. And then you can always add stuff over here as well, using these buttons.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Mhm. All right, who's next? Like, I need some tough ones.
Well, we are. I love
Oh,
this
okay.
topic, and we are running out of time. Um,
Gotcha.
Thank you, though, Alex, for this webinar. It was so informative. So
Yeah.
many tools.
Yes. And this is on YouTube as well, so people need
Yeah.
to.
So I'll share the video with you, and it is actually being live streamed now. So
Okay.
it'll be available to anyone who wants to go back and review this information because it was chock full of tools. So
Yeah,
thank you.
absolutely. And I'll throw this last slide on our way out. So if you guys want to get in contact with us, here's our information. You can also reach out to Nika and Drupal as well.
All right. Thank you, everybody, and I hope to see you next month.